Texas, a very similar team, except they don't just return the top 3 scorers. They return everybody, Dom.
Hook 'em. I love this team. I think this team has an insane amount of potential this year. They also have a 5-star recruit incoming in, Greg Brown, out of Austin, Texas. So I'm sure he's growing up a Texas fan. And Texas has the reputation of recruiting big men, and good big men at that. Jared Allen in the NBA for the Nets. Mo Bamba in the NBA for the Orlando Magic. So Greg Brown certainly seems like he has the potential to follow in the footsteps of those guys. So they were peaking at the end of last year. And the fact that they've returned every single player, like you just mentioned, I think this team not only has the potential to be a good team come March, I think they have the potential to possibly make a run at Baylor and Kansas and win this conference.
Yeah, I think the potential certainly is there. My big problem with this team is that if they do not improve their scoring, not only is this team screwed, so is Shaka Smart. I think that the offensive part of this team have to be the number one focus for this team. And the baseline for this team on offense is a team that did not crack top 150 in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency and just struggled. I don't think there's a single offensive metric in the team profile page where this team even cracks the top 100 from last year on the offensive side of the ball. That's not a good sign. And this team should be improved, yes. I just have a lot of worry for this team that if they do not improve this offense, West Virginia could jump above them, and they could be fighting out with the Oklahomans as far as that's concerned. And that's the big reason why I am very, very keen on leading this team out of the top tier in the Big 12. I just think that the offense, if it is not improved, will hold them back big time. Now, my other question for you is that if this team doesn't improve as well as we think they do, and if they don't make the NCAA tournament, is Shaka Smart on the hot seat?
Well, if they don't make the tournament, yes. I think that's fairly obvious. He was certainly on the hot seat last year, and then the team got hot, like I already mentioned. And I think that they finally stepped up offensively towards the back end of the year. And I think that them struggling offensively could be a byproduct of how good this conference is defensively. We've already mentioned how good defensively West Virginia is. Then you also look at Kansas, Texas Tech, and Baylor. Those are teams that pride themselves on their defense. So you're already looking at 4 of the top teams in the conference that are extremely good defensively. So you're right. The Texas offense was not very good last year, and that's what's going to hold them back if they do get held back in 2020-21. So I think that Shaka Smart, he's still got to coach for his job, but if they could be a top-tier seed in the tournament, 6th seed or higher, I think that he secures himself certainly through the following year.
Yeah, and Shaka Smart, I think he realizes that he needs to get things going because even when they did win the NIT a couple years ago, that first game, no one cared about the NIT in Austin, Texas. And so they're going to have to push for an NCAA appearance. And quite frankly, I'm not even sure if they would have made it last year. And I think that just shows that with offense, it held that team back from being a tournament team to be in the bubble. And that's questioning whether or not they are an NCAA tournament team to begin with. But the fact they returned everyone last year, I think gives them the edge for me over West Virginia.